This area along Interstate 8 is a big problem area. You have the endangered peninsular bighorn sheep. Their critical habitat is in this area.
This isn't an endangered population. It is a federally listed, distinct population of desert bighorn sheep that occurs in the peninsular ranges. Right now, we are in the island between I-8, which splits at this point in Imperial County.
And it's a very big area, but we discovered that this is where the sheep like to migrate and move to have their lambs each year.
Coming into their preferred lambing habitat requires them to cross this busy interstate highway.
And that some ewes, especially on this eastbound lane of Interstate 8, will often cross the road maybe 2 to 3 times a day, even with their lambs.
Every time they cross the highway, there's a very high risk that they're going to be struck by a vehicle. This highway has some of the highest mortality rates for peninsular bighorn sheep in the entire state. There's only one other state highway that comes anywhere close. This is a highway that was built in some pretty intense terrain. I mean, there are steep canyons and there are just these rocky hills all around, which causes blind curves that drivers have little time to react to as they're coming around. And if a bighorn sheep hops up, you have very little time to react. And so these can cause really dangerous collisions, can cause fatalities, can cause a lot of vehicle damage. So we're interested in keeping both bighorn safe and the people traveling this highway safe. And animals can't persist if you cut their habitat into too small of pieces. They won't have enough water, they won't have enough food. And so building structures like overpasses for wildlife allows them to move across their historic range, access the resources that they are familiar with, that they've needed to survive.
We have found areas that we could see putting an overcrossing would benefit the species as a whole, as well as directional fencing guiding them to these crossing locations so they can get over safely. Other states, like in Arizona, they did a similar crossing project for bighorn sheep there on the Highway 93, and they showed that it's dramatically reduced vehicle collisions with the bighorn sheep. So it's a big improvement on safety for the public, as well as safety for the sheep, to help their vitality and help them live out their lives without the threat of being hit by a vehicle.
These types of projects are really important to invest, and we need to continue to drive that funding and those conservation dollars, both at the federal level through the various bills that we have now kind of moving, but also at the state level to just ensure that we're continually driving that funding forward to take these projects from the planning and design phase, which is where we are right now, to actually the construction phase, which is going to be critical. Peninsular bighorn sheep are a listed species, so they're not a species that you can hunt right now. But our hope is that one day that we can bring hunters, conservationists, agency partners, Caltrans, everyone together to help the species recover. So maybe not in my life that there will be a huntable population, but maybe one of my daughters will be able to have an opportunity to come out here and connect with this landscape, with these animals, and to be a participant in nature. Oftentimes we find ourselves as observers, and when you get into hunting, it allows you to really participate and be a part of that rhythm of nature. And I think that's what resonates with me as a conservationist, is wanting to ensure not just the ability to go out and procure my own food and feed my family, but to ensure that the wildlife on the landscape, they're here for multiple generations. And whether or not you hunt or fish, I think everyone can agree that we want to make the roadway safer for people to drive. We want to make safe passage for bighorn sheep and all sorts of animals that are needing to go to and fro their habitats.
They're just such majestic animals. I love to see them up on the ridge line. They're very quick and agile in this rough terrain. I mean, it's very rocky out here, as you can see, and these sheep live out these tough lives. They're hardy creatures. I think they symbolize a lot of just resiliency, and they're beautiful to see on the landscape.
That is such an impossible habitat. It's just so absolutely awesome to think that something the size of bighorn sheep can be going up, and I mean, I've watched them go up almost what look like almost vertical hillsides. It's awesome, and any animals that can live and survive, they're worthy of protecting the habitat.